For over 2 decades, 3 states have been in a bitter battle over water. Now the fight has reached a boiling point.
There's certainly an issue about whether there's enough water for everybody.
Georgia, Alabama, and Florida all have a stake in the Apalachicola, Chattahoochee, Flint River system. It's the source of drinking water, fishing, business, and recreation.
Well, where I'm standing right now, I am in Georgia, but just on the other side of this river, that's Alabama. Now, the water is flowing down south into the state of Florida. And with all 3 states having a stake in this river, it's leading to a war over water.
Early October, Florida filed a lawsuit against Georgia in the Supreme Court. The Sunshine State charged its northern neighbor with using too much water. Florida says Georgia's water consumption is drying out business for oyster farmers. Oysters need a healthy mix of fresh and salt water to thrive. So who is sucking up the most water? Many blame Atlanta. The city is growing, and so is its thirst for water.
Over time, as population growth has come, as climate change is coming, we're starting to stretch our water resources, particularly in periods of drought.
But outside Florida, experts keeping an eye on the water level of the Chattahoochee River say it's not all Atlanta's fault.
I think there's a lot of climate change trends. We see less rainfall in the area over the last 10 years, and that certainly affects the flow into Apalachicola. And there's a lot of other variables that affect oysters other than just fresh waters.
The neighboring states have been fighting over the river's resources for over 20 years. One lawsuit after another, there's been no solution that quenches everyone's thirst.
It's not very often that they come to a consensus around something that both people have some give and take in. You either win or lose usually in court.
You think of the cost of 23 years of litigation, and then the federal agencies that are involved, it's enormous.
For the most part, the river is regulated by the Army Corps of Engineers. If Florida gets its way, the Corps would force Atlanta to cut back on its water consumption and divvy up the water among the 3 states. But some that have a stake in the river still hold out hope that the dispute can be settled outside of the courts.
I would hope that within the next 5 years that the 3 states can get to the table and bring resolution to this.
In Columbus, Georgia, Liz Wall, RT.